Hey, folks, welcome to episode 47 of the Mile 20 podcast where epic shit happens. I am Laura and I am here with my best friend,
Lori.
And we are back from our holiday vacation. We took 2 weeks off, much needed rest and relaxation and schmegma. We're just gonna call it that.
The shit is going around.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. So we're excited about this episode today. We are going to interview an author. Her name is Melissa Rodway, and she is the author of a book called The People You Meet.
Yeah.
So very, very excited for our listeners to hear just some fantastic stories and some insight about travel. So if you love to travel, definitely stay tuned for the rest of the episode because Melissa is just a very, very dynamic gal from Canada who just gives just some great advice about travel.
Yeah, no. When I went on to her flyrodway.com website and just kind of getting to know her a little bit better, I felt like we were kindred spirits in a way with the way that she loves to travel and
I could totally see traveling with her. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
When she's like, I plan all these hiking trips alone, I'm like, I'll go.
Yeah, like hello.
Go.
Yeah, right. So our mile 20 beverage for today is water. Water. That's how we say it in Philly.
Yeah, water.
Yeah, get some water.
Yeah. Just water.
It's water in New York. It's water here in Philly.
I feel like not fortunately, unfortunately. So like for entertainment perspective, unfortunately, but we're probably going to be pretty solid on water.
I'm kind of doing like a good dry January thing, but I'm also getting like over being really sick. So usually we give a recap every week of like what we've been up to. And we're like, we haven't been on our podcast now for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, like normally we have like a lot of shit we got going on. So you know what I did? I had a head cold and I had the flu. Yeah. And that's what I did. I binge watched The End of the Errors by, Taylor Swift. Nobody Wants This. The Stranger Things. I mean, dude, and you know me, I do not watch a lot of TV.
Yeah.
Freaking binged watched the hell out of TV.
No,
that's what I did. That's what I did on vacation.
This is how you know Laura's sick. Laura, how many things did you check off of your to-do list while you were incapacitated?
2 things. That's it.
That's amazing.
And I had probably about like 50 things I wanted to get done over like the 2 weeks. Cause I was
things. You do 2 things in a morning.
Dude, let
alone 3 or 4 or 5 days.
I texted you that over 3 days, I didn't even have 2,500 fucking steps in.
Yeah.
It was like, my husband was like, oh my God, like I can count on like 2 or 3 fingers how many times you went in our lifetime and went and rolled from like sleeping for 10, 12 hours, came downstairs and then like laid on the couch and then like slept some more.
Yeah.
Right. And like, and that was what I did one of the days during our vacation. So, so like, we did like 1 or 2 things. Like my sister hosted.
Do you think it was because we shared the mic that night? Our last podcast?
Do you think?
I don't know. But I didn't think I was contagious anymore.
But I think I got the flu when I went over to your house on Christmas Eve to drop off gifts, and then I hugged your daughter, and then it was like, oh, like another soldier fallen, like it went through your household like pretty well, and so I have a feeling that's where I picked up the flu-y thing from. So, yeah.
So it started with me in my house, but that was
right after our last podcast.
Right before. Wasn't it before?
Yes.
I came in not feeling
Yes, you felt sluggish the day before and the day of, but you weren't showing symptoms. And that's when, because I would have never have shared a much.
That's right. It was right.
Because you just like, I feel really run down.
Yeah. We recorded like on a Tuesday. It was Friday. I went down. I had 3.
You went down hard.
I had 3 days of a high fever. Didn't feel good.
Yeah.
And then it was like approaching Christmas. The next, like Monday was the week of Christmas. And I'm like, shit, I host in my house and I host like 25 people at my house. My dad, my stepmom, my brothers, their wives, their kids. We do we do called Festivus. I have all the nieces and nephews overnight on the night of the 23rd, and then their parents collect them when I host at Christmas Eve.
And when I came in to your house the morning of Christmas Eve, it was like freaking Lord of the Flies in your house. There were like the boys were running around with like dirt and mud all over them with like boxes because they were box sledding on the
Yeah.
the hill across the street, and they were like running in the house with like dirty boxes, and the girls, like, their hair looked like it was like hadn't been brushed in like days,
It's
and
beautiful.
they're like, just walking, and it was like, oh dude, this is like Lord of the Flies.
It's we did reindeer games, we did little games,
It's
and we
awesome.
our elf on the shelf came and visited and divided everybody up into two teams, and then we have a great time. We do hot chocolate. I don't know. Aunt Lori has a good time with all the
Yeah.
kids. I love it. It's
And
my
then
special time of the year
and
with
then
them.
everybody in the family got sick.
Yeah, and then everybody, yeah. So like right before, so I went down with it, got started getting better. Then Ella came down with it. She was quarantined all of Christmas Eve, all of Christmas Day. Then DJ and Maggie came down with it. I think Maggie was like Christmas Day, and then DJ was either Christmas Day or the day after. So the only person that escaped it was Dave.
Yeah.
So other than the holidays and being sick, Dave and I went to Cranberry Lake for last week for a bit. But Maggie
Yeah.
stayed home because she was sick, and
Yeah. I mean, Jim and I did get a chance to go up to Catskill, New York on New Year's Eve.
yeah.
And we spent time with our friends Bonnie and Steve. Hi, Bonnie. Hi, Steve. We love the Caros, and just got some just quality visit in. We're excited because their daughter Katie is getting married this summer
Whoop, whoop.
out in Cape Cod.
Congratulations.
So yeah, so it's like some fun conversation, talking about like wedding planning and becoming in-laws and so forth. So but yeah, no, really, really enjoyed it. But again, like unfortunately, nothing terribly exciting
No.
happened, over the last 2 weeks. And I think, I joked around with you like when you got sick, and I'm like, not joked around, but I was like, yeah, it's probably your body's way of saying like you needed to slow down because we've been going hard and fast for like months.
We have, but then here's the caveat, right? And this is the stuff that you have to take seriously when you have a marathon lifestyle. We try to do a marathon a month, and we like to have them nicely spaced, but
We overloaded.
we overloaded early on in the season. We our last race was in Rehoboth. Between Rehoboth and this week, or January 1st, how many miles would you say you ran
Not
between
many.
December 6th?
Not many. Not many. Because I got sick around December 17th, 18th.
Yeah.
And then you were sick. You got
Hmm.
sick, and then yeah. So not many. So yeah, I'm a little. I'm not super mental about the Jekyll Island Marathon because I know it's going to be flat, and
And it's 7 hours.
7 hours. For cutoff, we might need every single ounce of that.
I agree.
But yeah, it's hard when you get sick in the middle of a training cycle because I was planning on getting in some good runs. Like I had
Yeah.
a 20-mile run planned,
Yeah.
for one of the weeks in between, and that shit just didn't happen.
And I
So
think it's very smart as a marathoner. Even though this will be our 69th marathon, you always have to respect the distance.
yes.
There are people like we saw that dude in Philly who's like, this is the only time of year I run, and
Yeah.
he's out there running 26 miles like that.
I'll be honest with you. I'm a little nervous
That
about my
doesn't
stress fracture that I had last year, and
Yeah.
like just not having some miles on me. But Lori and I started with Maggie. We started our 1 mile a day streak.
Yeah.
So it is 8:16 at night on a Tuesday night. We're recording, and I still got to get out and get my mile done. So.
You'll get it done. So
No, I gotta get it done. And we're sending pictures each day to hold each other account. We're just like, hey, like I got it done.
yeah,
You
just
know, yeah, yeah. So it's been fun kind of getting out there and knowing exactly what a mile is in my neighborhood.
yes, it is kind of amazing because this is day 6 of it. I've actually gotten faster every single day that I've been out there.
Oh,
So that's
that's
kind of nice.
fun.
And it's
That's
even
fun.
nice to watch it drop when I introduce my dogs back because they're a little ridiculous to run with,
Yeah,
pee, poop, whatever. And I'm still seeing my time go down.
I
I'm
love
like,
that.
that's really
I
cool.
love that. I
Yeah.
love that.
I don't know how long that'll last because I was today like, dude, you're running longer tomorrow. Like, just take a breath and
Yeah.
you don't have to go out and kill it today. But
Yeah. So we got, some stuff coming up, and we'll share more about our upcoming running schedule, and what we have planned over the next couple of months as well. So, just trying to lay that out next week, and
yeah.
and just figure it out. But we are excited to interview Melissa here. So we're gonna cut over to our interview.
Today, we're excited to be joined by Melissa Rodway, a Canadian travel writer, storyteller, teller, and podcast host who has spent years chasing adventure, human connection, and the kinds of moments that change you long after the journey ends, much like our Mile 20 moments. From Southeast Asia to the Alps, Melissa knows a thing or two about pushing past comfort zones, and we can't wait to explore what travel, endurance, and curiosity have taught her along the way. Melissa is the author of a travel memoir titled The People You Meet, Luxury, Leeches, Love, and Lao Lao, with a host of interesting characters in Southeast Asia. Welcome, Melissa.
Yay,
Thank you
welcome.
guys. What an awesome intro. I'm really happy to be here. Thank you so much.
Oh my goodness. All right, so I have to ask, how cold is it right now where you are in Canada?
Well, today is a not so nice day here. It's raining, it's freezing rain, it's gonna snow. It's actually not that cold.
Oh,
So
really?
I
Okay.
wish it was colder. I'm a winter person. I love snow and all of that. I'm very rare, like not all Canadians like winter, just so you are aware.
We both enjoy winter weather
Yeah.
and snow.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love it.
I actually have a little cabin in the Adirondacks in on
Oh,
Cranberry Lake, which is actually north of Toronto.
oh yeah,
So
cool.
we
Lots of snow
and
there.
I love it. We get lots of like we're on the eastern edge of lake effect snow, so it's great.
Oh, that sounds amazing. You're very lucky. Good for you.
I love
Yeah.
it. I love it. Well, Melissa, congratulations on writing your book. I actually, for those on YouTube, I actually just bought the book. It actually came via Amazon today. Absolutely love the cover. I'm assuming that's you in the picture.
That's
On the front cover, absolutely like just I need to read this book.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I'm
thank
excited
you.
to dive in.
Yes, very, very excited. So what inspired you to want to write a book about your travels? Because like there's so many people that travel, have all these different experiences. What made you say, you know what? I want to go and put this to paper and share it with other people.
So this book is basically made up of emails, as you probably know, having read it. And what happened is that this happened in 2010. So this story is 15 years old, which is part of the story, I guess. It's kind of interesting. But I was traveling with a partner, and he worked for in luxury travel. So we were going on this multi-month adventure where 10% of it was probably luxury and the rest was backpacking. And the luxury part was so that he could make business connections with hotels and different luxury tour operators. And he wanted to just start finding some like really cool routes for future guests. But when you are the plus one, it's not the same experience, right? So you're with one person who's got a future goal in mind. They're like collecting research. Not that we weren't having fun, it was a lot of fun. But when you're the person that's just like hanging out, after a few weeks, it's if you're someone like me who's like mind is always going, it's very challenging. And I was 35, so I wasn't 25. And I felt like I needed a purpose and I needed my own job on the trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it happened kind of organically where we would be on these long buses and long trains traveling around these countries. And I would start thinking about what I was seeing and doing and feeling, people that we were meeting, and just even where I was at with myself in my own life. And this is 2010, so we're not carrying cell phones around. So once a week, I'm going to an internet cafe or we're finding a hotel with a computer in the lobby. And I would send out these emails that I had been crafting in my head all week. and they started going to other people. So my friends and family started sending them to their friends and their other family members. And the reaction, I wasn't looking for that. I was just keeping people updated in a way that meant something to me with humor and just being who I was. But when I started getting the feedback, I guess it planted a bit of a seed. And
I
so I
love
kept
that.
doing this every week. And then I don't know, I went in and out of it for many years. I wasn't sure what to do. And then about a year and a half ago, I just said, I'm pulling this thing out for the last time and I'm going to go for it. Because if I don't, it will sit here behind me forever and it's got to be done.
Oh my gosh. I absolutely love that you have all of that chronicled,
Yeah.
and that you saved it because what a gift, like what a gift just even for yourself, right? To be able to go back and look at the Melissa who traveled in 2010, right?
Yeah.
Versus like where you are now in life and just what your experiences were. So if you were to look back now and think about how you travel today versus like the Melissa that traveled and chronicled all of this in 2010, how have has your travel stayed the same, like your approach to things, or how have you evolved? Like what is Melissa of, okay, now I'm saying 2026. We were just joking around about how hard it is to say 2026. But like
No.
what's the Melissa Rodway's travel of 2026 is it different than 2010?
I think now I need a reason to go somewhere. It's less and less to just go for the sake of going. And that reason can be a lot of things. Sometimes, yeah, maybe it is just a 2 week trip and I need a break from work and there's a country that I really want to see. But I think that trip in 2010 taught me that I now need a reason and a purpose. So now it's active travel. I'm going on hiking trips and cycling trips because I want to be moving. I want to be doing something. I want to travel by my own steam. And I
Yeah.
also really like that lifestyle. I was in Italy last summer in the Dolomites, and nothing makes me happier than, well, getting up at 6 isn't the greatest, but whatever. Getting up early, packing your bag, eating breakfast, and then you're outside on the trail till 3 o'clock. And it's simple. It's a simple life. And then in my case, I'll have a beer or two with whoever is around, have dinner, have a shower. I'm in bed by 8. I really like that life. So it can be just to have a lifestyle that's like as simple as that for a few weeks. That's what I'm looking for nowadays. I will always love adventures in whatever form they're in. But at this point in my life, that's what draws me to places now is being outside and moving my body.
So have you done Tour de Mont Blanc out of curiosity?
Yes. Oh, yes. Have you?
Yeah. No, but it's on my bucket list.
You must do it. It's incredible. It was probably the first active travel trip that I did like that got me hooked.
Really?
Oh, it's the coolest thing ever.
All
So
right.
just make sure you don't go when it's very, very popular now. So you have to
Yeah.
find like a shoulder season, but it's the best. You must go.
Yeah, we were in France, as I think you know, back in September. I
Hmm.
was there for the month of September.
August and September.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the very end of August. And I kept thinking, ooh, could mid-September work? And then I was like, I think it's too close to snow season and all of that to try and squeeze in a Tour de Mont Blanc. But so what has been like maybe one of your favorite, let's start with hiking experiences. Like if you could pick one that you are most excited about and would push for other people, highly recommend.
Well, I think it's the one we just talked about in
Oh, it
all
is.
honesty.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Mm.
there's for me, I liked going through three different countries like France, Italy, Switzerland. I like that. I again, it was the first, and maybe it's because here's a question. Someone said to me once, what's your favorite trip or what's your favorite adventure? And the best answer I ever heard was the last trip that I took. And of course, that's how it goes, right? Because that's the thing that still sits with you and the people that you just met. But when I tell you that Mont Blanc, I mean, that was a long time ago, but I think that was the first time I had done that, like hut to hut kind of
Uh,
experience. and it's like your first love, right? You'll never forget it. And
Yeah.
I've done other hiking trips since then. I was in Patagonia in 2023 doing the O Trek, which was way more challenging than Mont Blanc and in some ways more beautiful, but hard, like much harder. And the wind and the elements and the whatever. And I think too, like as you get older, you see things differently, you feel things differently. But I think that Mont Blanc for me, I was like in my 30s or probably early 40s. And it was, yeah, like it was new to me. I had not done anything like that. So that was
So
it.
how did you because Lori and I we do with our husbands a lot of backpacking. In fact, we probably need to get another trip on the
Absolutely.
calendar. But like when people start out backpacking, some people use gear that's supplied to them from like a company, or you make that investment that hey, this is going to be something that like I'm going to do for a period of time, so I'm going to buy my own gear. How did you approach that? Like, did you go like all in? You're like, I'm balls to the wall, I'm going to buy all my own stuff, or did you like kind of like dip your toes into it? Like, is this something I'm gonna like? And then you ease your way in, because I think it can be daunting to some people, like just the cost of like backpacking and hiking gear, and
Mhm.
and some people might shy away from it, but there are like cost effective ways to go and do it as well. But so what was your approach to it?
So I always do those trips in a group. So I have a guide. I go by myself, but I'm with strangers that become friends
I love
within
that.
8 hours. Yep. And it depends what you're doing and where you're going. So many of these trips, they don't want you to use your own stuff. They have their own bags that they want you to use if you're using like Sherpas or
Hmm.
donkeys or anything like that. So, it depends what you're looking for. There's lots of people that go out and do this on their own, but I don't have anyone in my life that wants to do this kind of stuff with me. Actually, thank God, because I'd rather not see them on the mountain. Like strangers.
Depending upon who it is, right?
Yeah, I'm big into strangers. So so look into the companies and most of them, I mean, a lot of these hikes are for people that are reasonably fit,
Hmm.
but not elite athletes. And so certainly there's things you're gonna need. Like you want your own day pack that's like comfortable. I have done trips where my day pack was gonna kill my back because I stupidly didn't upgrade it. So I think looking into things like that is a necessity. Really good hiking boots, um, layers, like all of those things. But you don't have to like spend your life savings on this type of equipment. You can
Right.
also rent it from many different places. You can rent hiking poles, you can rent sleeping pads, you can rent everything if you really need to do it. So I think we all have a different, reality with what's in our bank account, and I don't think that should hold you back from doing adventures.
And thank you for just giving the whole spectrum, because, again, I think that when people don't educate themselves on like what the options are, they look at something like that going, I can't do that. Like it's not for me. But there are so many different ways that if it's
Totally.
something that you want to do in your life, there are ways that you can go about doing it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because we've done both. We've brought in our own gear,
Yeah.
like we did like the was it the Teton Crest Trail?
That's our next episode.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah,
we're talking about
yeah.
the Teton Crest Trail trip.
But then we did the Inca Trail, and we had Sherpas, for
Yeah.
that, and that was like so damn bougie.
Yeah, that felt very
Oh, yeah.
luxurious.
Well, if you don't want luxury, go do the Lost City trek in Colombia in the jungle, and then you'll be like craving luxury after that.
I'm
I
sure.
think I'm gonna stay away from Colombia right now
Yeah.
for a little bit.
Oh, yeah, maybe at the moment. But no, Colombia is a beautiful, wonderful, magical place, but that trek is not easy.
Yeah, yeah. My son-in-law actually was in Colombia he goes to Wharton, and they had a school trip down there like a couple of months ago. So we got a chance to go to
Yeah,
Colombia. So
it's
yeah, it was a great
amazing.
experience.
Yeah.
It's one of
Yeah.
my favorite countries, Colombia.
So since you did this and I mean, the book, the trip to Southeast Asia and China, you did that in 2010. You've
Mm,
traveled since then.
yes.
Have you documented those journeys and do we have sequels to books coming after we, get through this one, or do we have anything that we can look forward to?
Yes, I have started another one, but sadly, I do not have the same kind of notes. And you know why? It's because of the progression of the internet and technology.
Yeah.
Because back then, again, you didn't have what we have even now. So when I was away in 2023, I didn't do that. It was more like, Instagram posts here and there. I wasn't journaling and doing all that stuff. So I don't have the same kind of notes, but I have a very good memory. And yes, I'm working on the next book. So who
Oh, I love
knows?
that. Good. Hey, we'll keep track of you and definitely let us know when the next one's coming out. And Lori and I were talking about it that, what a gift it is that you went and kept all your emails because as Lori and I, we finished running a marathon in each of the 50 states at the end of 2023, and neither of us journaled. I mean,
Nothing.
I took pictures along the way, kind of chronicled some things via Facebook, but that was it. And both of us
Yeah.
were like, we were complete dumbasses, like not doing
Complete.
that. Because again, like just those little nuances, like when you go to a place, like, because the way that Lori and I, traveled each of the states together is like really try to like just be in that moment, be in wherever we were, take in the local joints, local eateries, sit if there were bar stools that were, empty, sitting at a bar and just talking to local
People.
people.
Yeah.
And those are the things that like we remember along the way, and we didn't journal a damn thing.
I know,
Nothing.
but I really believe that we can all thank our phones for that. I think it's changed our mindsets and our priorities, and we're a bit more lazy. And I have one friend who I met traveling who every day she writes in her journal, and I give it to her. I just can't do it anymore. But it's a lost art for sure.
I feel like it's every year on my vision board for each year. I'm like, start journaling. I still haven't done it, but it's been there for the last several years. I feel like that's something that we all should be looking forward to in 2026 is being more present and putting the phone down. Like,
I actually
Totally.
journal every day.
I know
Oh,
you
good for
do.
you.
She
I
doesn't.
do. I do. I
What
have
is
an
that?
app.
What is
It's
that?
called Day One, and it gives me a little prompt. Like something the other day was, what's a smell that you remember from childhood?
Mm.
And I was like the like a wood, like like a fire pit, because it just reminded me of like, vacation and summertime and, so forth as a kid and doing s'mores. So
Oh,
it just, I don't know, it's kind of cool. And like now I can look back because I've been doing it straight up for like over a year now.
Yeah.
And then you can kind of see like what you were doing like last year on the same day. And
oh, it's fun.
it's like, oh, that was a great day. Oh, that was a shitty day.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah. Oh, good for
so
you.
it's a nice reflection point. Now, one of the things, Melissa, for like our Mile 20 podcast, and the reason why we named it Mile 20 is that, in a marathon, which is 26 miles or 26.2
Two.
miles, you hit a point around mile 20 where your mind and your body start kind of fighting with each other and you hit what's called the wall, right?
Mhm.
And, either the mind or the body doesn't want to move forward anymore. It's like, okay, I need to consciously make a decision to like move forward. And we also thought it was a great parallel in life because we're both over 50 years old. And, like, look, at 50 years old, sometimes, like the wheels can start coming off the bus a little bit. But you know what? We put some duct tape on there and keep it on there, right? But like,
Mhm.
if you take our mile 20 moments, right? Like when you think about it in a race and you have to like make that conscious decision of like, okay, do I stay or do I go? Have you ever, like, through your travels, had an experience like on a trip where it was like a mile 20 moment where you were like, oh my God, like, because I mean, like, you talking about like being with leeches, right? Or just talking about like your trip to Colombia, where you're like, oh my gosh, what have I gotten myself into? And should I stay or
Mhm.
should I go? Have you
Yeah.
ever come across that in a trip and just really like kind of questioned yourself, but like did something to continue to move forward? whatever that
Yes.
choice was?
Happens all the time. I can think of two answers to this. So one you're going to read about in the book where when we went on this trip, my partner knew he would be there for 9, 10 months, and I was just going until I'd had enough. And it's exactly what you're talking about in terms of hitting that moment where your mind and your body is done. And so I knew that was coming. We were on the road every 2 days, probably for
Mm,
4 months at this point. I mean,
Oh,
sometimes
wow.
it's a lot.
maybe once in a while we'd stayed somewhere for 3 or 4 nights, but that was our style. That's how we did it. And yeah, it was a lot. So, and again, when there's one person who has a mission and a goal, and the other one is just like la di da, um, that can make for some interesting moments. So, I hung on for one more month, probably beyond where my comfort was, because I mentally maybe like needed to know that I could do that, but I was done. And when I got on that plane to come home, that's the only time coming home from a trip where I was like, couldn't wait to be in Canada. And then it happened to me again in 2023 on my year off. I was in South America. So I had been gone for 5 weeks and I overdo it all the time. So I had traveled for a couple of weeks, like with one group. Then I went hiking in Patagonia. Then I was on my own traveling in northern Chile, and I was going to Bolivia into the desert. And I had 10 days left, and I was done, capital D. And I was at the airport trying to get a connecting flight to this like small city in the north. And I looked at the board and I was like, if I got on that plane, that will take me back to Santiago and I can get home to Toronto, even though I had ten more days. And I called my partner and and he's a big traveler. And I said, I got to come home. And he was like, you have 10 days. You have to stay. You have to do it. But those moments are really awful. Like you're just done. But I'm glad that I did it, but it doesn't mean those 10 days were easy. It was super.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, and especially too, like, because I think we all probably have different thresholds of what makes us done, right, on
Yeah.
a travel trip.
Hmm.
And whether it's just that like a fatigue, right, of like just constantly being on the go, right, and not having like that downtime that maybe your mind and your body need, or like just like eating different foods,
Oh
right,
yeah.
and beverages, or just your mind constantly has to be on because you're reading different languages and you're having to translate everything, right? Like constantly. So yeah, I think, I mean, I can totally relate to that.
Yeah.
Where you're just like, okay, like I just want to be home
So
in my
right.
own bed with my own pillow.
Well, I think like travel fatigue is huge, but no one wants to talk about it because there's a lot of ego in travel, right? There's a lot of bragging.
Yeah.
I've been here, I've been on the road for this many months. Well, I've been on the road for this many months. I've been to this many countries. It's so dumb because, again, we are all built differently and we have different needs and different wants. And it's true. I mean, for us, you're sleeping in a different bed almost every night. And sometimes you're not the safest. I mean, we were in luxury hotels for 10% of the time. We were sleeping like a log there. But in other places where, you don't know who's coming in the door and you're sharing bathrooms and there's a band-aid in the sink and you're walking around everywhere in your shoes and you don't want to get in the bed because it doesn't look very clean. That is stressful on your body. Even doesn't matter how resilient
Yeah.
and tough anybody is, that is in you the whole time, right? And after a while, it catches up with you. And it doesn't matter how good the food is in that part of the world because it's amazing. After months and months and months of it, it's not your food.
Yeah.
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 And so all of that is starts to wreak havoc on your nervous system. And that's when you have to know it's time to go and
Mhm.
like and it's no good for anybody if you're hanging around in a place where you no longer want to be there, right?
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah. Well,
Laura definitely, she is like a bougie traveler. So she, the Band-Aid in a sink, she'd
oh,
been
that's
like, and I can't sleep in the bed, I'm tapping out. I'm gone. She
Well,
wouldn't
good
even
luck.
stay. She'd be gone.
We had an issue in Bordeaux. We ran in a marathon in Bordeaux, and we did it through like this travel service. So we had these hotel rooms that were in downtown Bordeaux. And we got into the hotel, and as soon as I walked in the lobby, I was like, "Oh, hell to the no!" Like, and I've done hut sleeping, where like, everybody's in bunk beds and stuff. Like, I can totally do that, but like I don't know. There's something about like a nasty hotel that just like I'm like I can catch something in here.
But I have to ask, because speaking of kind of nasty places to stay, I was looking at your Facebook page, and this may be part of the book, and I don't want you to spoil too much from the book if it is, but there was something about was it a Chinese roundhouse that I saw
Mhm.
pictures of? I was fascinated by this.
Yeah.
What is a Chinese roundhouse? And did you spent the night there?
Yes. So this is, yeah, the proper name, and I'm probably not saying it right. It's called a tulu. But yes, they are round houses, and they were built like thousands of years ago up in rural China, real Chinese areas. So for some crazy reason, because my partner and I, that's how we roll, found this place in the middle of nowhere. It took us forever to get there. And you get there, and there's several roundhouses in this. I won't even call it a village. It wasn't even that big. And so you can sleep there. And the one that we slept in is probably the oldest one. And it was a little bit terrifying. So you go there, they
It looked
give
like
you,
some of it was caving in,
yeah,
like
yeah,
part of
yeah,
the
yeah.
roof was missing.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So
I gotta go out and look at that.
it's round as, and then there's layer upon layer of rooms, like maybe 4 or 5 different levels, and it can fit 600, 800 people in
Oh,
this house. And so the middle is open, so that's where they like cook and they look after animals and they have ceremonies and they socialize and they do whatever it is they need to do. But then each family lives in these rooms and they are tiny and there can be lots of people in them. And they've lived there for generations and generations. So yeah, we paid, I think, like 50 cents or a dollar to stay there. And they give you like a padlock. They give you, well, that's all they give you. Then there's like a light bulb, there's straw and some planks and a weird kind of bed and a bucket for the bathroom, and that's it. And so and we've done some crazy stuff. But this was like, we looked at each other and we were like, what have we done?
How many nights did you stay there?
Just one. One is
Okay.
plenty. And
Really? Check.
then, yeah, totally. And it actually was really cool. I mean, I wouldn't do it again, but I did it.
But what an experience.
Yeah, huge.
And just the way that you described that, I mean, people live that way, right? And
Yes,
and
yes,
and I
yes.
think that that's the beauty of that, where it's like, okay, like this is not something I probably will like, spend a week or two, in a location, but to get that opportunity for those people to welcome you into their community, to be able to stay and be a traveler and, just to experience how they live on it day to day.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like you walk away from those kind of experiences like, wow, like,
well, you never remember, like, you probably in your brain vividly remember the roundhouse, maybe even more
Mhm.
so than some of the luxury hotels you stayed at,
oh
just simply
yeah.
because of the challenge and the
And the
story
uniqueness of
behind
it,
it. Yeah.
Yeah, good stories don't come from luxury hotels. So,
Well, maybe sometimes.
well, maybe stories we don't want to know. But
But those stories
yeah,
usually stay at the luxury
yeah,
hotels.
yeah, exactly. Yes. But yeah, totally. I mean, I appreciated the luxury as we were more and more exhausted. And in the beginning, it was more like, it's just a place to stay, and we would go out and eat everywhere else because we couldn't afford to eat at those places anyways. But as the trip went on, we were hiding like for our 24 hours and just like we are maximizing our luxury because you're exhausted, right? But yeah,
Yeah.
those are
Yeah.
not where the cool experiences live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Did you find, did your partner, does he speak fluent Chinese or
God,
any of
no.
those dialects? Because I would imagine in 2010 you didn't have Google Translate.
Nope.
And they don't have, the normal alphabet. It's all different. So, what did you find it difficult to?
Yes. Yes, even in Thailand. I mean, a lot of Thailand is very touristy, but some areas are not. And we ended up one night in rural Thailand and nobody spoke English and had to figure out a way to get back into the town we were staying in. And so yes, th that was a very common problem, certainly in China, certainly in like there was very little English there too
Yeah.
for us.
Yeah, and I would imagine that especially traveling in 2010, you develop, different survivalist, techniques, right?
Yeah.
So in order to be able to hey, I got to get back into town, and this is not an option, right? And you figure out a way to communicate or determine options, right? Of whether it's transportation, walking, like whatever the case might
Yeah.
be, right? But you do become a survivalist and to some degree.
Yeah, and I mean, people traveled well before 2010 without internet, certainly.
Hmm.
But I think the thing is there is a lot you can convey through body language, charades, and there are some universal behaviors, right, with people where you can eventually figure it out. I interviewed a guy on my podcast who rode his bike home from China to Canada through like 40 some odd countries. Obviously, one plane was in there. And
Wow.
the topic of his book was the power of saying hello. So he was in a lot of places where there was zero English, and all he did was smile and say hello, and it changed everything. He was
Mm.
food, shelter, safety from a lot of communities that had next to nothing and could not converse with him. So I think most people in the world are good people, and there is a way to somehow get your needs across, however it may be. It might not be exactly what you were looking for, but everyone really wants to help you.
Oh, I love
Not
that.
everyone, but I'm going to say almost everyone.
No,
I agree with
no,
that.
we've been very fortunate in
Mhm.
all of our travels to have.
Extremely.
Yeah. So talking about people, is there a person that you've met along the way where you're like, I will always remember this one person, this interaction that I had? Because I know for Lori and I, because we've done like the 50 states together, we have those people like where they made a really lasting impression on us.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And we always go back and talk about X, Y, and Z. Like there was this one woman that we did the Inca Trail with, and her name was Cherry.
Oh, yeah.
And
Cherry.
Cherry was in her 70s, her early 70s, right? And
She did
she's
CrossFit.
a CrossFit gal.
Um,
And here she is, like freaking kicking our asses, like going up this hill. And so as we've gotten older, our mantra is we choose cherry.
I choose cherry every day.
Every day we choose cherry because it's like how do you get older gracefully and not give into it or take it by its reins, right? So cherry is an example of somebody that just made a lasting impression on us. Has there been somebody that, as I'm asking that question, you're like, oh yeah, like this person made an impression on you?
Many, 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 but it's funny what you're saying because they're always older for me too. Like I'm 51 and last year I was in Italy. I was the youngest pretty much. All the hikers I was with in the Dolomites were like 73, late 60s, and they were all kicking ass. I was the last one down. I'm always the first one up the mountain and the last one down because my knees are going to fall out pretty soon, I'm quite sure.
Oh.
But yeah, lots of people. You'll read about someone in the book. I called her Elle. She was 70 at the time, so I was 35. She was 70. And she was traveling totally by herself through India, through China, through all these countries in Southeast Asia. And that is no easy feat. Even with a partner, it is not easy. So she has always stood out to me, but she was also like really nuts. Like there was like a part of her that was very exciting and interesting, and you admired her so much, and then like the next minute she would be like face down at the table from drinking too many rum and cokes and saying like crazy stuff. Like I have never in my life met a woman like this, so you'll read all about her. But yeah, there's some fascinating people out there. I traveled with a guy in Bolivia who was like 83 and
Wow.
Wow.
backpacking on his own. So there's no excuse, right? There's
No.
adventure is always out there for you.
Yeah, we saw that when, and we'll get into this next week in our podcast, the Teton Crest Trail. When we were descending our last day out of Paintbrush Pass, we passed a group of women that had to be 70 plus, but the oldest, how old was she?
85.
85.
Yeah.
And they had their walking sticks and they were going up the hill, going up to Paintbrush Pass as we were descending. We descended and we were like soaking our feet, waiting for our husbands to pick us up. And then lo and behold, here they come back down. I'm like, how did they do
I'm
that
like,
that fast? Like
I
they did
know.
that in a full day. I'm like, I don't understand. She's 85. This is insane. I want that. That's what I
Yeah,
want.
totally. I know. I get it. It's
But I don't have it at 52. Can I have it at 85? I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe it's like I also traveled with a woman last year in Colombia who was like 78 or 79, and we all looked awful. Like we're in the jungle and like sweating and disgusting. And she would emerge like also sweating, but coolest like bandana and earrings and like the nicest shirt and like was trekking away and like just the coolest woman ever. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's like the older you get, the you find out the secret sauce because you just don't care anymore, right? You just go for it.
Yeah, or you just know yourself so well that,
Yeah, totally.
like nothing else matters, right? At that point in time.
Yeah.
So we, as Lori and I, we travel. Our husbands always joke around with us like, you don't always need a runcation, right? You don't have to. We don't have to go on a vacation
That's
and it
crazy
has to be
talk.
like surrounding a run. We're like, ha ha ha. Like even next not this weekend, but the following weekend, we're going to Jekyll Island, Georgia. The boys are going to do some deep sea fishing, and we're running a marathon. You know,
Oh.
but when you think about like what would be a cool place, like for places that you've traveled, where would be a cool place to like actually have a marathon? Like where,
Oh,
because like the beauty that I love or that we love, I'm gonna
Yes.
talk for you as
Yeah,
well. And
speak
then
for me. It's go.
I got you. Is that when we're running, we take it all in.
Mhm.
We stop and we take pictures.
mm,
We will stop. We stopped in Delaware a couple of weeks ago, and when I tell you, Melissa, there were thousands upon thousands of geese that were migrating all at the same time. And we
wow.
stopped. I mean, we're running a race. We're not running it to win, right? We're
No.
still going to get the damn medal at the end.
Yeah.
But we stopped. All the other runners, nobody else stopped. We stopped and we just watched wave after wave after wave of geese.
I've
I will
never seen
never
anything like that.
never forget that, like
No.
ever,
Yeah,
right?
good for you.
So these are the things that we appreciate about, our marathon running is because we can immerse ourselves. So for all of the places that you've traveled, would there be ever a place where you're like, oh, like they should do a marathon at this location because this would be a cool place where for 26 miles, runners could totally immerse themselves like in this particular space, but really get all the nooks and crannies. Like I
That's a
think about
great
like
question.
Rome. Like I think about Rome,
Oh God, I love
right? And like
Rome.
26 miles of Rome was like,
Mm.
oh my gosh,
It's
that
beautiful.
was like a gift, right? Like doing that race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is there any place that you've been where you're like,
Yeah. Have you been to Croatia?
Yes.
I have not.
Yeah, I would say you should run there. I did a
Mm.
cycling trip there and it was unbelievably beautiful.
Which company? Do you mind me asking which outfitter you
Yeah.
used for that?
That one was Exodus, I think. Exodus or Exodus. I think it's Exodus. They do a lot of active travel.
Yeah. Were you on mainly on the mainland, or did you do some
Oh,
island hopping?
tons of islands. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Oh,
you're kind of
nice.
zigzagging, but it is so beautiful there. I
Yeah.
mean, I think that could work for you.
Okay. I'm about that. We actually
I'm starting to
interviewed.
think about that Dubrovnik half
I
marathon
know
they
that's what I
did.
was gonna say. That we interviewed a couple of gals a couple of weeks ago, and they actually said that they had run a half marathon in Croatia, and they absolutely loved it. So we were like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's
so thank you for
beautiful.
that. Yeah, I have not been, but seeing pictures, it's definitely on the bucket list.
I'm addicted to the water there. There
I
is
was
some,
just gonna say, yeah, like you can just jump into the sea like while you're running if you pick the right time. It's
I
so
mean,
good.
that water, there's something spectacular and addictive about that water. The salinity is so high, you're so buoyant.
Yeah.
I've realized I used to hate rocky beaches. I love a rocky beach. Like you just go down the little cliff and then you jump in the water because you're in 20 foot of water immediately, just
Yeah.
right off
Oh,
the rock.
wow.
And it's not like it's like you're not like cliff jumping. You're literally like the water's lapping at, and you walk over to the edge and you just plop in.
Oh, wow. That's
And there's a
different.
lot of places in
Wow.
Croatia. It's
Yeah.
just like that. It's insane.
I love that about it. Like, yeah, you ride your bike, you jump off, you jump in the sea, you get back on your bike, you keep going. It's awesome. So, yeah, there you
I
go.
absolutely love that. So do you have any trips that you have like on your radar for 2026 yet?
You know what? It's the first time I'm not doing that. I'm kind of letting the world decide for me what's going to happen.
I
I
like that.
mean, yeah, I'm going away at the end of January to Quebec City because I love it there. So I'm gonna do some
I
winter
have
stuff.
that marathon's on my list.
Oh, you must go to Quebec
Yeah,
City.
because we have not
That's
run a
in October.
marathon. We have not run a marathon
Any of the
in Canada.
Canada. Mm-mm.
Oh,
Hmm.
well, Quebec City is my favorite place. So, yes, I'm gonna go there and do some writing and winter stuff. But for the rest of the year, I don't know. Like sometimes a country will just get into my nervous system, and then that's where I have to go. But I don't know at the moment. I'm kind of
I
winging
love that. I love that.
it.
Yeah, I like years where like something just happens kind of
Yeah,
like organically
Yeah.
versus you have like a goal like and like I've read some stuff and I was actually listening to one of your older podcasts about having a goal as you're traveling and like goal
Mhm.
traveling versus like not and I sometimes it's kind of cool like not to have a goal but I don't know
Yeah,
sometimes usually like all of my trips, there's like something that's like drawing me, to
yeah,
a location.
I find, well, this is me and my family. Like, if there's not a goal involved, it's hard to get my husband to be like, oh, yeah, let's go do that. But if I'm like, oh, I have to, we're marathoning in all 50 states again. I have to go. It's
yeah,
different. But
yeah.
yeah, I wish
Well,
it was more whimsical.
that's how Jim got me. So last year, my husband, so 2025, my husband and I, we were planning like our big trip together. And so I wanted to go to Scotland because I've never been to Scotland. And we had planned that in 2020, got canceled because of COVID. But my husband threw out Portugal, and Portugal's never really been on my radar screen. And so we were going back and forth in terms of pros and cons. And then we follow the band Imagine Dragons. We have been like watching them in concert for years.
Years.
And he's like, Imagine Dragons is playing in Lisbon. I'm like, oh, there's my goal.
Yeah,
I,
sometimes
I I threw
it-
Scotland to the side, and and
yeah,
and and absolutely loved Portugal. I would go back to Portugal in a heartbeat.
yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely loved that country. So it is. It's one of those things where, like the beginning of last year, I did not have Portugal on my radar screen, and now it's like one of my favorite places. That my
Yeah.
husband and I have visited together.
That's very cool. Yeah, sometimes that's all it takes, right? Is a band.
That's exactly, and they were awesome. It's probably the best concert that we've ever seen them playing at,
Oh,
but I think it was
cool.
because of the crowd.
Probably.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Most definitely.
yeah, 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 yeah.
good.
So, Melissa, what advice would you give to someone who wants to travel but feels like they're not adventuresome enough to go and do it? I mean, you mentioned like, a couple of different, travel groups that you've been, a part of and so forth. But how does somebody kind of go from kind of sitting on their couch right now? Maybe they're listening to our podcast. Maybe they're a runner and they run locally, or they're just listening for fun. And it's like, geez, how do I get to Croatia? How do I just actually like become adventuresome? Like any advice that you would give to somebody who is aspiring to be a traveler?
Yeah, I mean, again, we're all built differently, so I think that people have to know what their own comfort levels are at the moment. And that doesn't always mean getting on a plane or even a train. That can be something in your own backyard or a city in your country or whatever it is. So start with whatever feels like a step for you and do not compare yourself to anybody else. I think that's the dumbest thing ever. And we live in a world
I
of
agree.
I agree.
influencers where, like, don't even get me started on that topic.
Oh
But
yeah.
um,
We totally agree.
Yeah.
We totally agree
oh
on that one.
God.
Yeah.
But yeah, but if you do want to go somewhere, I think it's never been easier, right? So if you're a single person, I mean, I do both. I will go traveling with an adventure travel company or an active travel company. I love doing that, as I said earlier, because you have the freedom of being on your own. You know, you don't owe anybody anything, but you're with like a lot of strangers who become part of your posse very quickly. There is a lot of fun to be had in that. But if you don't want to do that, I mean, it's very easy to go on your own. I was in Mexico for a few weeks a couple of years ago, and you can line up a million things to do in a day if you're on your own. Like I did a walking tour, I did a beer and taco tour, I did a food tour.
That
You
sounds
can
good.
go like, yeah, it was good till I got
I was like,
very
oh,
sick.
yum.
But like there's something for everybody. You can do a painting class. I mean, there's a million ways now to connect with people, to do something that interests you. You don't have to figure it all out on your own anymore. And it's never been easier or safer because of like GPS and the fact that we can be in constant contact with anyone from anywhere at any point. So I think there's like a whole bunch of these things now that have made traveling super easy.
Yeah. I think it's just like just just book it. Just do it.
Exactly.
That's the
And
first
you
step. You
know,
just got to go.
It is.
it's
Yeah.
true what you're saying it's that first step and we often like get overwhelmed and I do too. I hate packing. Every night before a trip I'm like, why am I doing this? Why do I still keep doing this? Why can't I be normal? Why am I not watching Netflix? Like why is this my life? And then once I'm there, I'm like, oh yes, this is why because
Oh,
I
Yeah.
isn't
did
that so
it.
true?
Yes.
I travel so much now on the weekends that I stopped taking my makeup out of my makeup bag. Like
Yeah.
and like so I constant like I just use my travel bag now every day as like my day-to-day makeup because it's more of a pain in the ass to dismantle it and then like put it back together because it's usually like every other weekend. Like I'm
Yeah.
out of the house somewhere, you know, with my husband,
Yeah.
with you, with my daughter, with my sister,
Yeah.
you know, and so forth. But I do love your comment that different people have different comfort levels.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
I'll give as a great example. So my sister celebrated a monumental birthday in 2025. So as a gift. My sister and I we're going to go to Paris, taking her to Paris because she's never been before. But our mom, who is 81, and she is still doing like 3, 4 miles in her neighborhood with her neighbors and stuff, right? So she's very active. She's never been to Paris. And so as I was like kind of planning out this gift before giving it to my sister, I said to my mom, do you want to come with us? Like, do you want to be part of this? And she was like,
Oh,
because she kept saying to me, she's like, that's the one trip that like I always wanted to do, but like I'll never get there. And it's like,
mm,
I'm sorry, like, there's no
right.
nail in the coffin, man,
Yeah, you still got a
like
heart, your brain,
yeah.
everything's
So,
working.
but I know about my mom that as she's gotten older, like change or like pivoting on uncertainty of travel, right? Because like we just
Mm.
know that not everything goes as planned.
Stepping outside the comfort zone.
Yeah, and it's like so as I've been planning this trip out, it's like, okay, what are those things that we need to have certainty on? Like somebody picking us up at the airport, making that easy for my mom. Or my sister and I, we're gonna check in 2 bags. I don't usually check in a bag for like a long weekend, but we're gonna take our mom's stuff and split it between our 2 bags. So we only have 2 bags, right, that we're carrying. So we're trying to like, navigate making this a great experience for our mother, as well as, trying to get the most out of it and like for her experience to be like as wonderful as it possibly can be as well. So, but I think exactly to your point, it's just knowing where people's, comfort levels are and then just how do you recognize that and like just know how to travel, with them. Like Lori and I, oh my gosh, like
We don't
And
even
like
think of
soulmate, man. Like, wouldn't even think about like,
it.
it's just like when we're traveling together, it's just like we both have like our roles, and
Yeah.
it is awesome
It
in that
is.
regard. Like we just,
Yeah.
and then it's kind of funny because when we travel with our husbands, we're like, oh God, you guys are throwing our mojo
Mojo
off
off.
there.
I get it.
I always say, like, because I'm always the driver. If we rent a car, I'm driving, and she's, she's our lovely
Navigator.
pilot.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
I'll be driving. I'll be like, oh, I wonder whatever that is. And she'll be like, and then she'll sit there and give me the full lecture of whatever it is I wondered about. I'll be like in the car with my husband, like, I wonder what the
Yeah.
same thing is. And he'll be like, I don't know.
Yeah, they're useless.
I'm like, you don't understand your role here. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do not
Yeah.
understand your role.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I also agree too, like, like what you were saying, whatever the comfort level is, I think we all forget that you should be a consummate tourist in your own backyard.
Yeah,
Like
totally.
we live
Agreed.
outside of Philadelphia. Like there are things in the city. I've been here for 11 years that I have never done.
Hmm.
Experienced restaurants I haven't
I
gone
haven't been to
to.
the Liberty Bell.
It was a
Oh.
sin. At this point, that's a sin. Have you been inside
It's just a John.
Independence Hall?
Yes, I have.
How
Yes.
can you go to Independence Hall and not see the Liberty
The
Bell?
line was really fucking long.
I don't care.
It's true though.
And
It's true.
but
We have
Yeah.
to see our own countries and backyards for sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, even if you're in some place more rural, there's experiences to be had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's stuff around you. People drive to different weird places to experience all this wonderful life has to offer in world. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Uh,
So Melissa, last parting question for you. With your book that's out, so I got it on Amazon. Where else can people purchase the book? Are there other places where people can purchase your book?
globally, Amazon is the best. If you're in Canada, it would be a bit of a different story, but we'll say Amazon.
Okay, fantastic. Is there like when you think about for our listeners, why should somebody go and grab up your book?
Oh, so many reasons. I think one is it's a great adventure. So whether you travel or you don't, it's a really good armchair adventure. And there's things in there when you read it, you'll be like, thank God she did it, and I never have to do this. So I did it for you. So there's that. And yeah, you'll learn about that part of the world. I'm not you must do this, you must do that kind of person. So it's more just like this is what's happening. But you will learn about that area, those areas. But I think it's really funny. You're gonna laugh a lot. I'm very honest. And I call a spade a spade. And it's also, there's some moments that'll probably make you cry. But I think the thing with me is, which is what I'm hearing from people, is that I'm a very normal, real person. So it's kind of like what I was hinting at earlier, in that I think there can be some intimidation from people when they look on Instagram or they look at whatever they're looking at people that look perfect. They're traveling and
Mhm.
hiking and backpacking. And I am not that person. I'm very, very human. I'm very normal. I have a very normal life. I just tend to like figure out a way to do some interesting things that are interesting to me. So I think for anyone else, it will inspire you to do what interests you, or maybe encourages you to like have your own adventure. And that doesn't even have to have anything to do with travel. Like I did a stand-up comedy course 2 years ago. This can come in all flavors of your life. So if that's all that this book does is to like inspire people, it's done its job for me.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That
I
is wonderful.
I can't wait. I'm actually going to start it tonight before I go to bed. So,
Awesome.
because now I have the connection with the author.
Yes.
I love
Lucky
that.
I
you.
love it. Yeah.
It's like I talked to the woman who wrote this book. Well,
Yes.
Melissa, we want to really just thank you so very, very much for taking the time tonight. We loved your stories, loved hearing about some of the crazy places where you've slept in China.
Yes. Yeah.
And just bestowing some of your wisdom and your experience from your travels, and how people can either like you were saying, Lori, just kind of venture out into your own backyard, or, go to the edges of the universe, so to speak,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's really, how you want to live this life, on a day to day, but don't be afraid to go and take the steps forward to go and reach the adventure. And thank you also for, sharing with us how important, making connections with people are,
Yeah.
throughout the journeys. That is what we are about, with this podcast, just getting to interview wonderful people like yourself, understanding, just how you're living your life, to its fullest. And we greatly appreciate that, because that's what being the Mile 20 podcast is all about.
Hell yeah.
Awesome, guys. Well, you're very impressive. All your running is making me feel very guilty. So good for you. Yeah.
Well, one quick thing before we
Yeah.
totally part.
Yes.
I happened to be on Athlinks looking to see if your
Oh,
name would pop up a little bit. I did see a little activity in 2011, 9, 8, and 7. Are you a runner in years past?
I was a runner for sure. Yes. I grew up running and then I had an Achilles tendon issue and then I
Oh,
was
Oh.
terrified. Yeah. And that's okay. But yeah, I loved it. Yeah. So
But it's cool because now you have a different sport or sports, that
yeah.
you've been able to go and, and have other adventures on. So
yeah.
Yeah.
kudos for you for not stopping.
Yeah.
Well, I think though that like when you're a runner, as you know, nothing replaces running. Nothing. So certainly I miss it, but
Cycling's close. Cycling
cycling's
is
pretty
close.
good. Yeah,
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 I
yeah.
like
I know.
cycling. I do that too on the side, but it's not my
I,
Yeah.
primary.
I have a bicycle, but like I don't cycle like she does. So I'm like, that's my aspiration this year, is like, how can I get a little bit better at my cycling? So
Oh yeah. Cycling trips are amazing.
Yeah.
yeah, she was just on
I
a cycling trip this
I did
past
my
year.
first
Yeah.
one with Trek Travel. I did Costa Brava in
Mm.
Catalonia, and it was challenging, had
Yeah.
challenging days, but also spectacular coastal views. It was
Yeah.
gorgeous.
It's fun, isn't it? I love that too. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, Melissa, thank you so incredibly
it was
much.
lovely to meet you. Thank you
And
so much.
have a great one. And after I read the book, I'll shoot you a note and give you a little bit of hey, here's what I thought of it.
Oh, I would love that. Well, thank you both so much. Really, really great to speak with you. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Have a great one.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. It was so nice talking with Melissa.
It was.
She's amazing.
It was. I can't wait to read her book and then actually give it to Maddie to read, because Maddie has been to the places where she describes in the book in
I'm
Thailand.
kind of interested. I'm excited to get into it because I went to China in 2010. I didn't mention that during the interview because it wasn't about me, but I kept thinking about how hard it was. Like we were on a set tour, so we were shuttled around and everything. And I can't imagine just kind of willy-nilly. I think I have a little anxiety about the places to travel to where it's not a normal alphabet
Yes.
and it's not a Romance language where I can kind of pick up on a word here and there, and nobody speaks even close to remote English. So I'm kind of interested to read it to see if it can open up my mind to being
Yeah.
more exploratory in that part of the world and
Hmm.
getting into rural parts of that world. I think it would be kind of cool.
No, I agree. I totally agree.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
So next week we will be back, and we are going to be talking about our trek on the Teton Crest Trail. It feels like so many weeks ago we talked about the Jackson Hole Marathon. So this was actually part of the whole same trip. We actually did the Teton Crest Trail before we ran the marathon.
Before we did was it 44 miles in 4 days,
Yes,
and
with a day of rest.
with a day of rest, and then we ran a marathon.
Yeah, so
It was ugly.
We already talked about the marathon, so you can go back to that episode and check that out. But next week we will be talking about the Teton Crest piece of that because we love to hike. I'd like to thank you guys for listening today. Please check us out on all of our socials. We're on Instagram. You can pick up the podcast.
Subscribe, give us feedback.
Yes, go to YouTube, comment. We want to hear about what you're running and tell us what you're doing while you're doing all this.
And what do we want people to do this week?
Go make Mile 20 your bitch. Peace out.
out.